a lot of times we wear the mask was really about how we have to hide how we really feel and truly feel about things. So a lot of times we suppress that, and really, bro, this why we got a lot of stress going on, heart disease, high blood pressure, because we still have carried that over from slavery. When we think about it, like Big Mama, when we grew up, Shelton, you think about it. Big Mama was always the strongest, huh?
Yes,
but
sir.
Big Mama probably needs somebody to be strong for her too. You see what I'm saying? But who did she turn to? So a lot of times, Big Mama kept a lot of this stuff in. How she felt and couldn't express herself. So we see why the sickness. You know what I mean? We get sick, bro, because you have all this stuff inside of you, and you don't have nobody to even talk to about it, or they don't even care to check on you because they so busy. I ain't gonna say some of them just don't care. People so caught up in their lives too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, it's deep, bro. It's deep, but we got to pick up that phone, and I try to call my people, bro. Like, hey, how you doing? And check on them. Because really, bro, I had a situation, and it's kind of up in the air, like exactly what happened. But my brother was going through something, bro, and he's going through a lot of stuff. And, he ended up in a situation that's not good. You know what I mean? But nobody knew. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So nobody knew what he was going through, man. And he ended up in a bad situation, but, he's still here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. A lot of times, man, we get caught up. We get caught up in our own life. We get caught up in our own rat race, if you will. And then we just hamsters on the wheel. So we just running, but not really going anywhere. And we're busy being busy. And so we don't really have time to go reach back and help nobody else out, because I'm going to be late to my destination if I just reach back and help you. If I reach back and talk to you, you grown, you should be able to figure that out. You old enough, you should be able to figure that thing out. Why I got to help you out figure that out. But we don't never know what anyone's going through. We don't never know what's going on in anybody's mind. We see people, man, rich people that kill themselves by committing suicide. Man, they had a lot of money, man. They should be all right. Money is not the end all be all. Because if your spirit and your soul is suffering, right, you'll never get peace. You'll never be able to be at peace and get rest and just really feel fulfilled in life, because you are missing something. Something is missing. And we never know what people are going through. And again, as men, a lot of times we don't want to talk about what we go through a lot, because we don't want to appear to be weak or vulnerable. Or as we talked about last week, we don't know what people will do with that information. Now we got this information. They may use it as ammunition against you in the future. So a lot of times we keep a lot of stuff to ourselves. But as you said, brother, it's to our detriment. It's to our detriment to keep all that stuff bottled up. So you have to have a spirit or a circle of influence. I'll say a sphere of influence, a sphere of influence, to where you can go to, whether it's religious, whether it's a relationship of a kinfolk, whether it's a good friend, a coworker, whoever. You have to be able to get that stuff off your chest. If not, it is going to consume you. It is going to eat you alive, just like drinking a bunch of water. Eventually, you're going to have to use the bathroom. And if you don't, you're going to piss on yourself or piss in the bed or do something. You have to be able, you're going to eventually, so what's in you has to come out. So if you got all this drama, all this negativity, all this aggravation, all this anger, it eventually has to come out. And sometimes the ways that it come out are non-productive. It may come out with me having to kill another person. Another person having to kill me, or beating up on my spouse, or my spouse beating up on me because it's aggravated. You see what I mean? So we have to be able to have a release valve to get rid of some of this stuff, man. And then again, I think, as you say, for our mind, body, spirit, for everything, man.
But it goes. You right, bro. But and just to add on to what you were saying, bro, everything you said was right. I have a friend that. And, this is what I was going to say, too, to add on to that. It's already enough pressure just living everyday life sometimes, with
every
your job, with your children. You're trying to please, right? You're trying to please your wife or your girl, or you're trying to make sure you please. And I'm not talking about in an extreme way, but I'm saying, you want to take care of business and, make sure everybody's straight. it's a lot of pressure. That's why they got the picture with that man with the world on his shoulders, because that's exactly how I feel sometimes. And that weight, and then to add on, sometimes we put too much pressure on each other. Extra weight. You're already dealing with stuff, but then you got this extra pressure coming to you and making you feel like you're not even good enough, and you trying, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at. That's enough to drive the same insane, because there's different levels of insanity. That's enough to drive you crazy, bro. It's just enough to drive you nuts, because you're like, damn, I'm trying so hard. And it breaks your spirit. Once you break somebody's spirit, bro, it don't matter about the body. And I keep going back to slavery again. They broke their spirit, bro. And that's why people say, well, like, how did they stay in bondage? Hey, man.
Because you broke their spirit. It's just like you tie a dog, right? You tie a dog to a pole, and then you tie him up for years and months and months and months. Same thing as the elephant, right? This big old elephant at the circus. What's that parable they talk about? This big old elephant is tied up to this little bitty pole. Now that elephant can pull that pole out. But because for years and years and years, he's been trained just to hang on to the little bitty pole. But you don't, like you said, you don't realize your power. You don't know your power. But so it's psychological. Mm-hmm. So when I take that from you, guess what? You are vulnerable, not just physically, but also mentally. And so when you in mental bondage, oh man, it's a wrap. It's a wrap, dude. When you mentally in bondage, man, it's over with, man. Real quick, man, shout out Christy Bishop, man, tuning in tonight, man, longtime fan, always on point, always has some solid information, man. I always want to give her a shout out because as we talk about all the time, there's thousands and thousands of podcasts out here to listen to. So for you to tune in and take your time to tune in and think about a radio straight from the street show, that's appreciated. And that's applauded. And I thank you for it. Brandon, thank you for it. Vincent, thank you for it in his absence, man. We all really appreciate that because, again, that's what it's about. Because without anyone listening to the show or caring about what we got to talk about, then there's no show. There's no purpose, of doing the show because we're not reaching anybody. So whether we reach 1 or 1,000, these messages are from our heart. And we really want to be able to just have a conversation and be able to use these platforms that's available to us, right? In order to spread a good message because we got a bunch of platforms that's spreading a bunch of mess, from our perspective, right? A bunch of junk. Right. So we want to be able to kind of balance this thing out. Real quick, man, I'm going to read a comment, man, then I'll let you chime in, man, on what you have to say too, my brother. She stated that I am grateful for my listening ear friends because I have been on that edge and just them listening helped me out.
Right on.
Just like that, man.
Yeah, it's going back to,
much respect.
Right. And what I was saying earlier, and like going back to what we were saying earlier about pressure. Everybody not built the same. And they can't handle the same amount of pressure that this other. What you can lift, like just weight, what I'm saying, Shelton, and we working out together, you might can lift more weights than me, because you might have been training longer.
Yeah.
So how I'm going to start out lifting what you lift, you putting extra weight on me. And I just use that analogy for life. We pressure our children. A lot of times we pressure our children to you got to make our age. And they trying, but that's extreme pressure. And then if they don't, they feel like they're not good enough. So then you have kids start acting out. Wives pressure their husbands. You need to do better. This ain't enough. Then you got husbands pushing their wives. You ain't pleasing me. And I'm just dealing with all these different dynamics, and everybody's frustrated. What you think gonna happen in the household? So we create these dynamics. What's in that house? The things we see in the streets manifest in the streets. It started at home. You see what I'm saying? And like going back to tying in what you said, Sheldon, you was talking about the body. But, what goes on in the house don't have to come out. So the dysfunction starts at home. So we see somebody bullying in school and doing all these different things. Where did it start? It started at home. You see what I'm saying? So we got to change these dynamics, and we should ease each other loads and work with each other and quit giving us so easy on our friendships, on our relationships, and try to make that work and try to, okay, let me see what, I might not agree with Shelton, but at least let me try to understand and see his point. You know what I mean? If we can come to that point,
well,
we'll have better situations, bro.
That's where maturity comes into play, though, man. You know, because you having that understanding and that knowledge of that man is absolutely wonderful. But a lot of people don't have that maturity level to where they're thinking outside of their emotion. Because we're dictated by our emotion. We do things or not do things based upon our emotions or how we feel. Not necessarily what's right, not what's correct, or not what's for the betterment of the household or the betterment of the relationship or the betterment of the community.
Right.
A lot of times we just deal with emotions. We deal with those emotions. And that can be a good thing or a bad thing.
That's right.
So you're right about that, man. So a lot of times, man, we can self-destruct based upon how we feel. But at the end of the day, what makes sense? What makes sense? So you don't have to worry about kicking yourself and saying, "Man, I should have done this, I should have done that," because you took the time enough to think and have mature actions to what we dealing with, man, and what we're going through, though, man. And that has to be the root of the whole thing, though, man. Maturity. Right. Understanding of, again, as we talked about, who you are, who's you are, and where you're going. When you understand that. When you understand that life and things that life is going to bring is going to come your way. But as we talked about earlier, you're going to deal with it with such a perspective that, you know what, I thank God anyway.
Right.
If you're Muslim, you say, I thank Allah, right? You know, if you're Buddha, you say, you thank Buddha. If you practice Buddhism, you thank Buddha. Whatever you think. Whoever you think, whatever divine creator that you say, whatever name that you want to call, at the end of the day, you are grateful for a spirit, a source, giving you another opportunity to get it right where you didn't before. So that's the thing about it, man. Perspective and gratitude will take you a long way.
That's right. And then I want to say this too, bro.
Yeah.
If we see something going on and we don't, try to help anyone, then we at that point we have lost our humanity. You know what I mean? Because that's what makes you human. So you lose your humanity if you see somebody suffering. And I don't care. You might not have money, whatever. Like a kind word, bro. You know, something like do something. But I also want to say now. On another level, it's one thing to help somebody who's going through something, but we also have to be mindful where we don't want to enable somebody. So, because there's a difference. You know, I'm going to help you help yourself, but I can't help you if you just completely give up, tying into what you said, Shelton. If you completely give up, or you go to the point where nobody don't love me, because you have people saying this, and I heard rappers talk about this. You know, I'm solo, I'm one deep. You know, I don't love. First of all, my man is not an island, bro. You know what I mean? You didn't. And, you know, I put my cell phone. No, you didn't. You did a lot yourself, but you're not telling the whole truth because somebody helped you get to that position. Nobody became successful on their own. You know what I mean? Somebody gave you a break. Somebody seen something in you. So when that kills us, bro. Ego, that kills everything, and that's what's going on. You know, it's just this me, and not worrying about how others feel or think. We lose our humanity, bro. But like I said, we don't want to enable people. You know, when they're just using, you know, because some people will use things as excuses and be looking for a handout or poor me. So that's another aspect of what we're seeing. Like, no, you need to turn to your inner self and motivate. You need to change who you're around, you know, unsuccessful people, and start hanging around successful people. So, you know what I mean? You know, so I'm just presenting from that perspective as well.
I mean,
some people always, you know.
You're some product, man, of what you're around and stuff like that, man. Miss Bishop made another comment real quick. She said, we need to realize that being transparent also helps, especially if you have been through it. Being transparent
right.
actually helps, especially if you have been through. A lot of times, man, we'll have kids and children, right? And we don't want to tell them the bad that we did. We don't want to tell them the things that we did because we want to spare them the details of our life. But then when they grow up to be just like us or act some of the same ways, well, I don't know